Hi everybody and welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a look at a new kit. This is actually from Rincoe. This is the Mechman mesh kit. It does go up to 228 watts. It does have variable wattage. It's got bypass, temperature control, TCR settings. You can also change your wattage in temperature control, which is awesome. It does come with this tank and it does come already pre-installed with a bubble glass. It does hold 4.5 mils of e-liquid and they give you two different mesh coils, which is great depending on how you vape. It is a top slide fill and it does go up to 228 watts, the mod does. In addition to that, you can actually change the panels. So you can actually interchange the panels to the ones that you want. They do have a variation, which I'll show you down below. So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Mechman mesh kit down below. So here we are with the Rincoe Mechman 228 watt mesh kit. This is the box that it comes in. It looks just like this. On the back, you're actually going to get some kit contents right here. You're going to get some warning notices, and then of course there's social media right here. Scratch off authenticity, and then you open it up. And inside, you're gonna get a USB cable. This, I never recommend to actually charge batteries within the mod if they are external batteries as these are. So this would probably be for firmware upgrades if they have any out there. Then of course, you're gonna get your mod. This is the Rincoe mod. Then you're gonna get your tank. You're gonna get an extra coil because there is one installed, so we'll go over that. You're gonna get an extra bubble glass. This to me is absolutely phenomenal. It does come with a bubble glass already installed and you get a spare on the side, which is always great. Of course, you're gonna get some spare O-rings inside of here. And then underneath, you're gonna get this fill card. It's just gonna tell you how to actually prime up the coil, which I'm gonna show you, and I usually always recommend doing anyways. You're also gonna get this QC pass card. You're gonna get this warranty card right here, so you wanna fill that out. You're gonna get a battery safety card. It does have it in both languages. You wanna make sure that your batteries are not torn or ripped. They have to be in good condition for the mod. And then you're gonna get the user manual. Now in here, you're gonna get some specifications regarding the tank. It's gonna tell you the capacity of that. It's gonna give you the coils and things like that. You're also going to be getting some specifications on the mod. These are the resistance ranges I want to go over real quick. In wattage, our bypass, it's 0.08 to 5 ohms. 0.3 ohms recommended, nothing greater than that, but I don't recommend going over that anyway. In TCR mode, it is nickel, titanium, stainless steel, and TCR, and it does go from 0.05 to 3.5 ohms. They're giving you some information there. It is made of zinc, alloy, and leather, and those are the measurements. And then in here, this is the part that I wanted to show you. It does have the menu with the TCR ranges for the TCR settings. So I do like this. This is a big thing because if you're gonna offer the TCR settings, I think that you should have that in your manual as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the tank first and then we will go over the mod. So this is the Mechman tank. This is a 24 millimeter in diameter tank. It does hold 4.5 milliliters of e-liquid and it does have the spare bubble glass as I mentioned. It does have a removable drip tip. It is an 810 size, but it is not goon style because it does have the O-rings on it. I do like the fact that they did give it a nice resin finish to that drip tip. Very, very nice. I like that it's not plain Delrin. Definitely plus. Right here, you're gonna have an arrow. It is top fill. All you do is just slide that back and then you can fill your e-liquid right here. And then it slides back into place. It's got a really, really nice tolerance. It's not super loose, so I do like that. On the bottom, you're gonna have a protruding 510, but I do not recommend this on any type of a hybrid. I wouldn't recommend any tank. It does say Mechman mesh tank. This is made by Rincoe as advised before. And then you've got your bottom airflow. Now the bottom airflow, there are two slits, one here and one here. Whatever you do to one will happen to the other. To get into your tank to either change your coils, take it apart, or clean it, you're just gonna unscrew the base like this. When you do that, this is where you can actually change out your coil. This is where you can actually change out your glass if you break it or whatever, but it does have the spare bubble glass. And then you can take out your coil. Now the coil that is currently installed, this is actually the single mesh coil. I want to show you that up close. It is a really, really nice mesh style coil. I'm absolutely loving the shape of the coil. I think that it's just great, and it actually connects into this piece. So this actually becomes your chimney piece. So it brings it down and makes it a little bit more compact. This is the 0.25 ohm coil, good between 40 to 60 watts. And yeah, so that's that one. Let me go ahead and show you the spare one, because the spare one's actually the one that I'm going to be using. So that was the single coil. This is the dual mesh coil, and you can see it in there. Really, really nice mesh, still keeping with the same shape. I do like that. And then this is the 0.2 ohm coil. This is good between 50 to 80 watts. I do love the airflow on the bottom. That definitely shows that there's going to be really, really good airflow, because the bottom parts are actually the ones that actually work the airflow. So I really like that it's going to be an airy vape. And then to install your coil, always, always, always thread it backwards until it grips. And then when you hear it click, then you're going to screw it down. So you're going to take it backwards until it clicks. There we go. And then tighten it down. This will make sure that you don't get any type of leaking, because if it's not threaded correctly, you will get leaking. And then of course you do want to prime up your coil either with the instructions or with my instructions. You definitely want to do that. And I'm going to be using this Ashant by Lifted e-liquids. If you haven't seen my review, you definitely need to try this out. This is by the Lifted e-liquid line. Very, very nice, kind of floral tea flavor. I really like it. So I'm just going to wet the cotton on the outside just a little bit, just a little tiny bit there. Put a little bit in there, a little bit here, a little bit in there, and then I'm just going to wet it on the inside a little bit. This is just to try to get it started so that it'll start saturating. And you always want to leave it about 5 to 10 minutes once you do fill up the tank, just so that it saturates your coil and you don't get any type of dry hits or an unpleasant vaping experience. Then just open up the top fill and go ahead and fill it. Again, it does hold 4.5 mils of e-liquid. There we go. And then just close it down and set it aside. So we'll go over the mod now. We have the Rincoe Mechman mod. This is the mod that it comes with. It does have like this little design here. On the back, this is actually leather in between this. So it is made of zinc alloy and leather. So on this side, you do have leather. On this side, it's all metal. So you wouldn't, or the zinc alloy all throughout this side. And then you've got your fire button, your minus, your plus, and then of course your USB port. On the other side, you get nothing. On this side, you do have a spring-loaded 510. It is like a medium strength spring-loaded, so I do like that. And then, of course, it's just a design here. On the bottom, you've got really, really nice battery ventilation. I really, really do like that. And then to take it apart, you just find a little groove right here. And this is the door. It's really nice and clean and machined really, really well. You can't even see the magnets that are on this side. You only see them on the doors because they're actually underneath the plastic portion here. Inside, it does have the battery indications, negative, positive, positive, negative. I do wish that they were in white. I think that that would make it just a little bit more visible, but this is the way that it is. It does say Rincoe. And then you go ahead and put in your batteries, and I'm going to be using my Galisi 18650 batteries. It does take two 18650 batteries, but they are not included, so you would have to actually have your own. And these are spring-loaded, so you always want to go ahead and push up on the spring-loaded when you're inserting your batteries to prevent any type of tearing. And then just snap on your back door. Now the back door does snap on really, really tight, but it does have a tiny bit of movement. Not major, but it does have some movement, so I want to mention that. And then on the screen, you're going to have your battery indications. You're going to have the setting that you're in, and currently I'm in variable wattage. You're going to have your wattage. You're going to have the seconds fired, your resistance, as well as the voltage as you're firing. I don't have anything currently on here, but so I'll put something on so that we can go ahead and show you that. Okay, and then I did go ahead and put an atomizer on here just so that we can go ahead and test these settings. You will see your battery indication. It's going to show you what setting you're in. I'm currently in the variable wattage. Your wattage, your seconds fired, so as many seconds as you fire. It's going to show you your resistance as well as your volts as you're firing. So if I fire it, it'll show the voltage. This does go up to 228 watts. It does go in 1 watt increments unless you hold it down. When you hold it down, it will start scrolling in 1 watt increments, and it does go up to the full 228. If you press the plus button again, it will round robin back to 1 watt. So I do like that it round robins, and then just keep going up. To get into the menu, what you're gonna do is press your fire button 3 times, 1, 2, 3. This is gonna make your setting actually flash. The next one is gonna be bypass. Just hit the left or the right. In bypass, this makes it sort of like a mechanical mod. Next one is gonna be nickel. Next one is titanium, and the final one is stainless steel. Now, when you're in the temperature control settings, you can change your wattage. In order to change your wattage, you're gonna press your left button and your fire button. When you do this, new coil. When you do this, it's actually gonna make your wattage blink, and that's where you can change it. And this does go up to the full 228 watts, and it does round robin as well. So you can use the temperature control with wattage control and round robin. When you round robin it though, it does start off at 10 watts instead of the normal one. And then just press your fire button to select it. 1, 2, 3, get you back into the menu setting. The next option is TCR. In TCR, this is the one that I told you that is in the booklet, where you can actually select your TCR settings based off of the coefficient, which is the ranges that are currently in the book for you. The next option is going to be back to variable wattage. Now, while you're in any of the settings, if you press your plus and minus at the same time, it will go ahead and lock your buttons, but it will still be able to fire. You just won't be able to change your settings. To unlock it, you're going to do the same thing and press and hold your up and down. Now, to actually lock your resistance, what you're going to do is press your power and your up and down at the same time. And this is actually going to put a lock right on your resistance right there. And you can see that the resistance is now locked. And then to unlock it, just do the same thing. Press all 3 buttons and you're back to the main menu. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and put the tank on this. Okay, so here we are back on top with the Rincoe Mechman mesh kit. 228 watts, a little bit more than I would need, but at least it does it. Before anything, I'm gonna go ahead and have a vape, and then we'll talk more about it. Absolutely amazing flavor. Of course, it is mesh coils, so you're gonna get really good flavor on mesh coils. Is it the best mesh coils I've ever had? No, but they're really, really good. So if I could get the mod without the tank, I probably would, because it is very similar to a lot of tanks out there, but it is good as a kit, just like it comes. Some pros and cons on the tank first. The first one's going to be, it does come with 2 mesh coils, which I really like. It does have the slide top fill, which I like, and it's very, very airy. You hear that air? I love airy vapes. So for me, a tank has to have clouds and flavor, and this one does. So I do like that. I love the resin tip. I just wish that it was an 810 goon style rather than the one with the O-rings, but it's not, you know, a do or die for me. I'm just used to it now. 4.5 mils of e-liquid capacity. That leads me to my con. Usually tanks that come with the bubble glass, you get at least minimum of 5 mils, if not more, 5 to 7 mils of e-liquid capacity. This one only has 4.5. That to me is kind of strange, because the fact that usually you do get more e-liquid capacity. It's not a make or break. It still works very well, and I like that they kept it low profile, so it's not a really, really tall tank. So that could be definitely a pro. Another negative is going to be, or another con for me, is going to be the slide fill. There is no lock to it. That to me is really important. If you're going to have a top fill that does have the slide, you really need to put in a locking mechanism, so that way if I put it in my purse or my pocket or whatever, that it's not going to come undone. Even though it has a really, really good restriction to it and it's kind of hard to push, I still would have liked a lock feature. Other than that, I cannot find any other cons to the tank. Those are my main cons. For the mod itself, I'm going to go ahead and go over the pros on this. First pro is going to be ease of use. Ease of use. This menu is super, super easy. As you saw, it's 3 clicks to get into the menu. You go to your selections, and then the only other one that you actually need to make additional selections or use other buttons is just when you're changing your wattage and temperature control. Then you would press your down and your fire button, and you can change the wattage. wattage. So that to me leads me to another con. So that to me leaves me with another pro. You get to change your wattage and temperature control. That to me is a definite pro. Not that I use temperature control that much, but if I decide to use temperature control, I definitely like knowing that I can change the wattage and temperature control. I just feel like that's a hand in hand type of feature that should be offered whenever you have TCR or temperature control settings. That also leads me to the TCR. The TCR settings, I love the fact that it's really, really easy to get into, and the manual actually provides the ranges of the temperature of coefficient of resistance. So I really, really like that. To have the TCR coefficient ranges is definitely a big, big pro to me. Another pro that I want to mention is the battery ventilation. It has a lot of battery ventilation, which to me is definitely a huge pro. Another pro to this is going to be the fact that you can change your wattage in temperature control. That to me is really, really key, especially if you've got a temperature control setting. I feel like you definitely need to be able to change your wattage in temperature control. You need that option. The TCR setting, you actually have the ranges in the book. They do give you the TCR coefficient ranges in the manual, which I think is another huge pro. The bypass mode, I don't really use. I don't think many people do. You really want to make sure that you are an experienced vapor to actually use the bypass mode. So that to me is kind of like a subjective con. I don't feel like in a device like this that the bypass mode should have been there, but that's just my opinion only and my opinion alone. I love the fact that you can lock the keys and it's not going to lock the whole mod. That to me is definitely a pro, because if I want to lock the whole device, I'm just going to turn it off, which is 5 clicks on, 5 clicks off. So I think that that is definitely worthy of being mentioned. Now for my cons, I have, and I love the design of it. I absolutely love the feel of this leather on this side. I really like that. And the fact that you can actually change the panels is a definite huge pro. I wish they would have sent me some panels so that I could have showed you the different panels and how to actually put them on and change them out and show you a couple variations, but I did only get this one for review, which by the way, Rincoe, thank you so much for sending my way. All right, going on to the cons. There's only a couple cons. One is gonna be that, did I mention? No, another pro is going to be that the menu round robin. So you go all the way up to 228 watts and then go ahead and round robin and it'll drop it back down to 1 watt. And it does the same thing in temperature control, except for when it round robins, it goes to 10 watts. So I do love that. You do have, of course, your Celsius and Fahrenheit temperature control settings. So I do like that. Also, to lock your resistance, really, really easy. All you need to do is press these 3 buttons and it locks in your resistance. So that to me is also a plus. You don't have to go within the menu in order to do that. So that's great. And you can do it in TCR, in temperature control, or variable wattage. So you're good to go. Now, for the cons on this, there's only a couple. The first one is a subjective con. The battery indications, I feel like, should have the negative and the positive marked in white just to make it a little bit more user-friendly, where you can actually see it a little bit clearer. These are actually indented and indicated very, very well, but still having them white, I think would just benefit a little bit more. Another slight negative to me, which it's happened in a few other mods that actually have a removable door, and it's not that bad, but this door does have a little bit of movement. When you're using it, you kind of can feel it, but it's not major. You can't hear it. It doesn't rattle or anything like that if you shake it. Not that I shake my mods, but you can't hear any rattle, but you do get a slight movement to it. So I did want to mention that. Another con to me, which this is a kind of a big con, if you notice down below, you could see the screen really, really nice because I did have it very enhanced so that you can see the screen, but it is kind of dim. When I go outside, I can't even see the screen. So it is a really, really dim screen. So I did want to make mention of that. Now indoors, and as long as you have it set, you really don't have any problems. In my car, I'm okay, but if I'm like in direct sunlight, it is hard to see. So those are literally my pros and cons. Another pro is going to be that this whole kit is $59.90 on their website. You can go to rincoe.com, RINCOE.com, and they do have this for $59.90 for the whole kit, which I do like. They have it also at different websites. If you just Google this Rincoe Mechman mesh kit, they do have it there as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my yeah, for my pros and cons. I love the feel of this. Honestly, it weighs really, really nice in the hand. The tank is kind of pretty much like other tanks of this nature with the mesh coils and stuff, but the mod itself, I do like it. I really, really love the feel of it, the weight of it, and the fact that you can actually change out the panels. Those are my definite pros for this. That actually kind of makes it totally different than other mods out there similar in nature. And another pro I did forget to mention is this button. It's really, really nice and clicky, and I like how it sticks out a little bit so that you can find it no matter if you're a finger firer or a thumb pusher. You can feel it, and it's not getting in your way. Really, really nice and clicky and responsive. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for my review. I can probably go on for a while. So that's it for my review. This is the Mechman Mesh Kit by Rincoe. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments what you think about it. Like, what's your favorite part of this, the tank or the mod? Leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you, and I will see you in the next one.